The Galaxy A30. With the M30 at 15K and the A50 at 20K, what does the A30 have to offer? It's a little confusing, isn't it? Well, let's dig deeper to figure out what Samsung's up to. Hey guys, Ash here from C4eTech and welcome to our review of the Samsung Galaxy A30. If you do end up liking this video, please don't forget to turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Now, one of the main reasons that you might be drawn towards the A30 over, say, the M30 might be because of the cameras. After all, it has a higher megapixel count with the primary sensor. So, let's see how well it does. Under good lighting conditions, it takes some really good looking pictures. Zooming in, you can see that it captures a lot of detail, and thanks to that wide f1.7 aperture, we get a lot of natural bokeh or blurring of the background, especially in macro shots like these. But how well does it stack up against the 13 megapixel camera on the M30? Side by side, you can see that the detail levels are nearly comparable, but the A30 does pull ahead quite a bit when it comes to dynamic range. Moving on to the ultra wide shots, and here as usual, there is a noticeable dip in detail levels. Yet the 5 megapixel sensor manages to capture some pretty impressive shots. Side by side, it seems Samsung's using the same sensors here on the A30 and the M30, so no major differences, nearly identical images. Maybe the A30 can impress us more with its low light shots, right? Okay, it does fairly well. The images are bright, although zooming in you can see that there is not a whole lot of detail, and the backgrounds of some shots like these have quite a bit of noise. Compared to the M30 though, the A30 wins this one. The detail levels are slightly better, but the colors are where the A30 clinches the victory. They look way more natural on the A30, while the M30 tends to be a tad bit more washed out. However, the lack of a night mode hurts both phones, as the other competition in this segment like the Realme's and Redmi's do much better under low light thanks to their dedicated night modes. Now, when it comes to video, both these phones are limited to 1080p 30 fps. The detail levels here on the A30 are good, and so is the color as well as dynamic range. One UI doesn't let you configure a ton of options, but it does seem like we have electronic image stabilization here. Now, the surprising part was that Samsung has managed to include a live focus mode here, despite this phone lacking the 5 megapixel depth sensor that the M30 had. And I gotta say, the results pretty impressive. You can see us gradually increasing the amount of background blur in the photo, and on each shot, edge reduction, skin tones and details seem to be retained really well. Onto selfie portraits then, the edge reduction here is a bit more flaky, but certainly good enough for social media. And as far as selfies go, well, once you turn the beauty mode off, it is on by default. The 16 megapixel snapper takes some good looking shots with great detail. Overall, the A30 has a decent set of cameras and does manage to do fairly well in all situations. So despite one less camera, the A30 does win this one, but not by much. Compared to the A50 though, well, it may be just 3K more, but the cameras on the A50 are quite a bit better, so no comparisons there. Okay, enough about cameras though. What about the rest of the phone? Well, the rest of the phone is pretty similar to the M30, with only two key differences: the software and the battery. So let's talk about them first, since you guys already know what to expect from the rest. First up, the software. We have the new One UI on the A30 running on top of Android 9 Pie, and visually it looked great. Performance for the most part was excellent. Apps opened up quick, and thanks to the 4 gigs of RAM on our review unit, multitasking was a breeze. But like we had seen with the M30 before, the Exynos 7904 does seem to drop a few frames here and there, especially when opening up the multitasking menu. When it comes to gaming though, the Mali G71 MP2 manages to hold on pretty well. Yes, there is the occasional frame drop, but nothing severe that you are gonna be robbed of your chicken dinner. One UI in fact has a dedicated game launcher which does let you choose between power modes, change resolution, and even set max frame rates. Pretty neat, right? So overall, when it comes to software, we enjoyed One UI on the A30, no complaints here. Even the battery life was pretty good. Despite a 4000 mAh battery, 1000 mAh lesser than the M30, it lasted us nearly 1.5 days. Even on the busiest of days where my colleague had used the phone to navigate for 3 hours, clicked plenty of pictures, and talked on it again for a couple of hours, even then he ended the day with at least 15% juice left in the tank. We also have a Type-C port in here along with the included 15-watt charger, so the A30 can get juiced up pretty fast if needed. Now the differences are done, let's quickly go over the similarities before we jump into the conclusion. On both the A30 as well as the M30, we have the same 6.4-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED panel. It looks gorgeous, and thanks to the Widevine L1 certification, we can watch Netflix as well as other streaming services in high definition. Coming to other aspects of the media experience, the speaker volume on the A30 felt a bit tinny, but sound through the headphones was perfectly fine. Interestingly enough, we do have a separate auto brightness sensor in here, so the selfie camera has to no longer pull double duty like we've seen on the M30. Samsung also seems to have put in a bit more effort into the design of this phone. Although like the M30, the A30 also sports a plastic build, the fog glass look here looks much better than the gradient finish on the M30, but it is an entirely personal choice. But one thing worth noting here is that the glossy back of the A30, while it looks better, it does pick up dust and fingerprints way quicker than the one on the M30. Now speaking of fingerprints, we do have a fingerprint scanner to the back, works well, and so does Face Unlock, no complaints. And finally, one more similarity that I almost skipped out on. Both not only get the same internals, but they also share a similar triple card slot, so nothing to set them apart there. And with that, let's get to pricing, and here's where things get really interesting. The 464 variant of the Galaxy A30 comes in at 16,990 or just under 17,000 rupees, while the same 464 variant of the M30 comes in at 14,990, that is 2,000 rupees cheaper. So why would you pay an extra 2,000 for the A30? Well, the only reasons we could think of were, if you really like the cameras and the software experience, One UI, then the A30 might kind of make sense. Otherwise, from most of the perspectives, they're exactly the same. The M30 even has an advantage when it comes to battery life. But if you do indeed want better cameras, why not spend 3,000 rupees more and get the A50 instead? You get much better cameras, better performance, and in-display fingerprint scanner too. So then who is the A30 for? Well, I guess a very specific niche of people who want only a Samsung phone, are in a very tight budget under 17K and wanna opt for the better software experience with One UI and enjoy the slightly better cameras. For most others, the M30 or the A50 are better choices if you wanna buy a Samsung phone. And that's just my opinion though. Now, I want to know, what do you guys think about the A30? Does it make any sense? Would you buy one for yourself? Why or why not? Let us know in the comments below. And I guess it's now time I bid you adieu. Share this video with friends and family if you can. Subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. And have you watched these videos? If not, do check them out. You might find them interesting. And also check out our other channel, FTJ by C4eTech. And thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4eTech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.